Hey guys, this is just going to be a quick rundown of the course portal. So once you're on the landing page, which is learn.tradingapprentice.com/login, it's going to take you to courses. And if we click on the course, these are all the modules for week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. And they're all drip fed, so there's no way that you can unlock the next week until that time actually is passed. So obviously, if we go into each module, right, we have a video. Some of them are only videos. So course portal, I will get course portal uploaded by the end of today. Obviously, I'm doing it right now, so you're not going to have, you're not going to see it in this video. But we have trade platform overviews. So all these, with the exception of some. So if it's just a PDF, we're going to see a section on the right hand side for files. Aligning yourself for success. So some of these modules will actually have homework attached in them. So obviously that's going to be shown in the description. So we have foundations in trading, aligning yourself for success. So this PDF accompanies the video. So any of the slides that are shown in the video, they can be downloaded here. And then for some of the homework, we actually have Google form links inside of the description. So these are just short form answers that I could not put into a multiple choice quiz just because they're all going to be specific to you as an individual. And I don't want you guys to just kind of pick, cookie cut answers that might not fit your specific goals or your specific personalities. So I really want to get to know you guys. And this is the only way I could do it is through some Google short form that you're going to have to obviously fill out all this information and then submit to me. And then the other homework is going to just be in a separate module as multiple choice quizzes. So, we can click on start quiz and obviously read all these, submit your answers, and then submit. And those will be auto graded. So, we have a bunch of coursework to get through on week 1. Fiscal policy are just PDFs, monetary policy, just PDFs. This is a lot to try and intake as we go through. So don't feel discouraged if by end of week 1, you're still working on this module. Kind of just work at your own pace. Try not to be the person that's trying to speed rush through all these lessons to try and get to the next week. That way you can just kind of stay on pace. If it takes you longer to get through all of these, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not like you're going to get left behind, because I will be covering a lot of these topics just through live webinars on a weekly basis, weekly Q&As, things like that. So yeah, this is basically the course portal. It's pretty easy to get through. I will add a section in here that will basically just cover any of our live calls. So any of the live calls that we're doing week to week or weekly Q&As, I'll add separate sections in here just so you guys can access the previously recorded lessons and, kind of access them whenever you need to. So with that being said, if you guys have any questions, obviously just reach out to me and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, how's it going? This one is just going to be a trading platform overview for TradingView. Now, I can go into other platforms, but for the purposes, I think for this course, most of my analysis is going to be on TradingView, but we can get into other platforms if we need to. Forex firms are kind of moving away from MT4 and MT5. They're pretty straightforward, but we can go over some other platforms. But I think just for this video, we're just going to review TradingView. Now, I guess we'll start from left to right. Up here, we have our symbol search. So if you click on this, again, we can find any pair or any ticker in here that we need to just by typing it in, right? They have futures, Forex, crypto, et cetera, et cetera. So this is basically where we're going to find our ticker. Let's say if we wanted to look at crude oil futures, we'll just type in crude oil futures. And then we under different futures, they have different contracts. The ones with exclamations are continuous. That means they're showing basically the rollover. But I guess for trading purposes, we really just want to trade the actual month contract that has the most volume, which we can get into at another point. But I believe you can still trade off the continuous chart. It's just a little bit wonky when it comes time for the contract to expire. So up here we have our different time frames. So 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, etc., etc. Now each one of these candles is going to be representative of that specific time frame. So one of these candles is 24 hours of trading, right? One of these candles is 4 hours of trading. One of these candles is 1 hour of trading. So this will be from 2 to 3. Here, you can add custom intervals if you have the premium version of TradingView. You don't need it, but I think it's good to have. Here we can change between bar charts, candles, hollow candles, volume candles, line charts. I don't use any of these other ones though. That's kind of up to you guys. If you wanted to mess around with Heikin-Ashi, or Heikin-Ashi basically just smooths out the candles, so there's less chop, I would say. Renko actually shows point movement, which could be interesting, but I just prefer sticking with candlestick charts. Up here we have indicators. We can search for indicators, and I'll give you guys a list of indicators that I use, but you can favorite them. That way they're always showing up here. Here we can save our indicator templates. So if we have multiple indicators on one chart, we can save that indicator template. That way if we need to pull it up, we can just have all of our indicators appear. Alerts, we can create an alert. There's another easy way to create an alert. We can just go here. Let me see if, I don't know if I can do it on this pair. Let me just go to Euro. It might be my setting. Plus button. So if we just go here, this is kind of our settings. You want to make sure the plus button setting is on. And if I wanted to set an alert, let's say price crossed this point, I would just come in here. If you see the plus sign that appears, we just click on that. Then we can add an alert, or you can set limits there if you're connected to a broker. It's very easy. Just add alert there. And when it's crossing it, it'll go off. You can change the settings in here if you need to. I believe you can set up SMS alerts as well. So if you really wanted to get into that, I can provide a guide for that. Replay, this is going to be bar replay. So basically we just go back in time and we can essentially backtest. But I will say that the only caveat to this is you're not getting tick data. So it's not showing you every tick movement. It's showing some of it, but it's not perfect by any means. You still can use this option, but there are better options out there. Up here we have our chart layout. So we can have 2 windows, you can have 1 window, you can have 5 windows, whatever it suits you and your specific layout. Here we can save our templates. I don't use any of these. Full screen mode if we need to. This is to create a snapshot. So sometimes I'll download the image. A lot of times I'll download my image just for journaling purposes. On the right side we have watch lists. So as you can see, I have my various watch lists. You can create separate categories if you need to, separate sections, etc. And you can click and drag these around if you need to. And then there's different options in here, obviously, to show what's showing up on these columns. I don't have the advanced view. Don't need that. You can save watch lists in here as well. And you can flag symbols in here if you need to. That way, if you wanted to just look at, the red list or blue list, you can. I don't really use any of these alerts again, it's just showing up again. This right here is the object tree. So I guess I'll show you exactly right now how to manage objects inside of here. So an easy way of doing things, let's say if we were on a weekly time frame, and I'll just remove everything right now. If I wanted to mark up my weekly charts, let's just say I'm marking up my weekly charts. and I only want them to be seen on the weekly, well, I would go into each individual tool, change the visibility to weeks, because I don't want them shown on the lower time frames. And this is all personal preference, how you guys want to do it. I'm not saying one way is the right way to do it, but inside the object tree, there's an easy way to lock these tools. That way you just can't click and drag them off. So they'll always be in the area that you drew them. And then you can come in here and create a group, actually. So you can create a group of drawings and rename this as weekly drawings. That way, let's say if you're on the weekly time frame, you can toggle them on or off very easily. And you can do the same thing with daily. So, obviously the visibility is, I have the visibility only shown on the weeks, but if I turn these back on, right now they're showing on my daily chart. So if I wanted to come in here and mark up my daily chart now I can mark up my daily levels and then group these as daily drawings. Name it whatever you want. You can lock them all at the same time if you need to. This way, it's very easy to toggle between weekly levels, daily levels, whatever you have going on. It just keeps everything organized, and in my opinion, is a great practice to have. So we know that we're organized, and we know that we're looking at specific levels week in, week out, and day out. Over here, we have our drawing tools. So right here, we have cross. I like to use cross because it obviously paints a crosshair on the canvas. You could use dot if you want. Dot still paints the canvas. Arrow does not have the crosshairs. Eraser if you need to use that. Then under here we have our different lines. Obviously a trend line, it just ends at one point. Array just goes forever. I believe it goes forever, does it? So you can extend it right if you need to. Info line, I don't use that one. I don't really use any of these. You can use horizontal lines if you want. Horizontal array basically just automatically extends it as far as you can, right? And when I was trading from a job, this was easy because it allowed me on my phone to be able to see these levels. And what I would do is set text, and I would say previous daily low. And I would make this all the way to the right, because if I was on my phone, then I can see that we're trading into a previous daily low, even though I might not be able to see all the data on the screen. So basically, as the market was trading down there, I would know that, hey, we're trading below a previous daily low. That's kind of a hack that I noticed just from, I guess, trial and error and trying to figure out what the best way of doing things was when I was actually working a job. I don't really use any of these other ones. You guys can take a look if you need to. This is going to be our Fibonacci section. I'm basically just using Fibonacci retracements. And under the settings, I have 0, 50, so 0.50, which is equilibrium. Then I have 0.618, 0.705, and 0.79. So these are my most used levels. And then if we wanted to get in extensions, we could. We have -1, -0.5, -1.5, et cetera, et cetera. So you can use the extensions as profit targets. So again, I'm going to show you guys this so you can maybe take a screenshot, set your Fibonacci up the same way. I have my equilibrium as a different level just so I know, hey, we're trading in a premium or discount. Anything else in here? No. I don't really use anything else down in here. I don't use anything in there for patterns. Long position, short position, obviously, if you want to go long. It'll show you your risk reward ratio, et cetera, et cetera. And if you really wanted to, you can figure out how many units you can trade. You could say, hey, my account size is 100,000. I want to risk 2%. And it'll actually give you the quantity. Right? And that's pretty nice. So it'll tell you the quantity, not in lots, but in currency units. So if you were to do this on euro, obviously you have to convert that to lot sizes if you were trading it that way. But it's good if you're trading, I don't know, futures or stocks, because it'll tell you, how many shares can I afford at what specific risks, etc. I don't really use anything else in there. Brush tool, obviously we can click and draw. Highlighter, highlight different levels, whatever the case is. Arrow marker, I don't use those. Arrows, if you need to point something out for your journal. Rectangle, I use rectangles for fair value gaps. So I will always have the magnet on, and this is usually a weak magnet. So that way I can click and drag to the specific low and high of a fair value gap, and it'll be precise, right? It'll snap to that level. So I usually have a weak magnet on just so it'll snap to those specific levels. Same thing with, trend lines. If we're snapping it, see how the crosshair kind of just snaps to that level. That way you're getting the exact price. See, path. Path is basically we can draw out our, a trend line or what we're expecting from the markets. I don't use anything else. Text. Obviously, we can have text, call outs, comments, price labels, price notes. Emojis, sometimes I'll put an emoji on where my draw on liquidity is just so I know what level it is I'm targeting. And that's pretty much it. I mean, measure. I use a fair amount just to target, just to see how many points or pips if I am trying to calculate my risk. Zoom in, zoom out. Obviously, the magnets. Here, inside here, we can set our drawings to, new drawings are this one right here. New drawings are replicated. Let me see if I could get that tooltip to pop up. So new drawings are replicated to all charts in the layout and shown when the same ticker is selected. This is an important one because if you're obviously looking at the same instrument in different time frames or in different windows, you want to make sure if I draw it in this one window, that's going to pop up in another window. All right. This is hiding all drawings if you want to just look at price action itself. And this one will remove all your objects. Okay. So down here also is our trading panel. So if you wanted to browse some of the brokers that allow you to trade directly on TradingView, you can. Now for futures, I'll always recommend TradeStation or Trade I've had issues with interactive brokers for whatever reason. Sometimes my orders were not being filled. I don't know why. I just haven't traded my live account, my personal account with interactive brokers. I've just moved everything to TradeStation. I heard Trade pretty decent as well, but if I were to recommend one, it'd be TradeStation. And then obviously for Forex, I'd recommend Rwanda. They've been around for a very long time. I did hear that AMP was pretty decent as well. So that just throwing that out there. All right. So I hope you guys found this one useful. It's just a quick overview of TradingView. This is the platform that I think is the best in the industry. There are other platforms, but they're not as streamlined and easy to use. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.